Every year we find ourselves at running back searching for the next Kyren Williams or the next Josh Jacobs. For Josh Jacobs, it was a running back that had a big workload, but we weren't too sure about the skill set. He was going in the 5th, 6th round and proved us all wrong that he was more talented that year in a bad offense than we thought he would be. Then on the other hand, we have Kyren Williams, who was the RB2 on his team, likely to just be the pass catcher, but we see when a guy that's not so talented ahead of him like Cam Akers gets hurt or loses the starting job, there's a lot of room to take over a great offense that people are undervaluing. Now, these are 6 running backs that I'm about to give you that have a chance to be one or the other or kind of in between, and I have a bonus 7th guy who's going after pick 200 in every single draft. You can get him for free. He's probably going to be on your waiver wire. Now, the first guy on this list and my most drafted player in best ball so far, if you don't know, I've drafted over 50 drafts so far, each of them being over $25, so I'm putting some bread down on this. It's Raheem Mostert. I don't understand how he's going at pick 97 as the running back 28. That is absolutely mind-boggling when he was the RB2 last year for most of the year, averaging almost 18 points a game. What is going to change here? I need a good, hard explanation. Sometimes I understand that if a great rookie comes on the scene like Puka, he's going to get more work, right? But a guy like Devin Achane is just never going to be a workhorse running back. He's very small, very injury prone, already got hurt multiple times last year. Both of these running backs are injury prone. Mostert is too. Why would we ignore a guy in this backfield that's so high powered that we know is going to get most of the goal line work, right? I think people are expecting Achane to maybe start to get like 16 to 18 touches a game. I don't see that happening. I see him being a little less efficient. I still love Achane, don't get me wrong, but Achane's going at the back end of the 2nd, early 3rd round. Mostert in the 7th, 8th round. I mean, man, this seems like the prime spot for 0 RB. If anything does happen to Achane, I think Mostert actually can get 20 plus touches. Even though they did draft Jalen Wright, maybe he does some things if one of the two gets hurt. But as it is right now, this is like prime 0 RB candidate. Draft a bunch of stud wide receivers in the early rounds. Top it off with Raheem Mostert. The second guy is going to be Naji Harris as the running back 20 going at pick 84. Similar scenario, but I think he's actually the starter in this role. I really think Jaylen Warren is probably more talented, but I don't think the coaching staff really cares. They do love a big back like Naji. Arthur Smith, we know, just wants to absolutely pound the rock and run the ball a ton on the goal line. Naji is also capable of catching passes if he has to, and we saw at the end of last year, they finally did start to give him a lot of the workload. He had a 26 carry game, 24 back-to-back PPR points in the final 2 weeks. Never been like a Naji type of truther, but this is kind of that Josh Jacobs mold where we're kind of like out on a guy who I've been passing on pretty much every year he's been in the league because his ADP was just way too high. He was in the 1st round. He was in the 3rd round for a little bit in previous years. Now you can get him at pick 84. Yeah, I'm back on board. This also goes for Jaylen Warren if you think that Naji may get hurt, whatever it is. Both running backs in this offense has a ton of upside if the other goes down, and both of them have a lot of value if they don't go down either. Like Naji, the reason I prefer Naji is because I think he has more standalone value. If both these running backs play 17 games, I think he will outscore Warren. But yeah, that's how I see it. Next up at pick 95, running back 27, James Conner. Another guy who just continuously outperforms his ADP. The only thing that ever stops him is injuries. Every time he is healthy, this dude is absolutely electric at getting fantasy points. Him and Kyler have a great connection. He runs a ton on the goal line, catches a lot of dump-offs. They draft Trey Benson, which is going to scare more people again, but just like last year, Keontae Ingram was there. He did absolutely nothing. We always hear these like backup running backs that may do something. I got to wait and see. I'm sorry. I'm not going to avoid a great screaming value like this because of Trey Benson, right? Like maybe in the next year or the year after that, he'll be great, but like this incoming year, I don't see how they don't give James Conner a good amount of work and what should be a better offense than it has been in years. Kingsbury's obviously gone. That's when they had the most talent with like Hopkins and everything, but now they finally have Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, James Conner. They have a lot of talent. Kyler's healthy. No Cliff Kingsbury. This offense actually could thrive, which means I could really see him getting like 14 touchdowns and I would not be surprised. Then that brings me to number 4, David Montgomery going as running back 18 at pick 75. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously the better, more electric back, but they use these guys in different roles. If you see, David Montgomery is doing a lot of the inside zone, just a lot of the BS carries that aren't going to get you those 15-yard carries that Jahmyr gets all the time, but he's going to get you five yards of carry behind that amazing offensive line. He's going to get you the goal line work, and if, God forbid, Jahmyr Gibbs does get hurt, David Montgomery, is probably a top 5 back almost every single week. That offense is too good. That offensive line is too good for him to not just completely thrive. And he has the ability to catch passes. He's not some just screen merchant who's a demon at it, but he's okay at it. He'll do it if he has to. He did it a lot in Chicago, especially towards the end of his career in Chicago. I just love this spot for zero RB so much. That brings me to number 5, Aaron Jones on Minnesota now. RB 19 at pick 77. Now, we know he finished the year absolutely electric. He looked like how you would imagine like a 23-year-old spry running back that's never got any NFL touches before would look at the end of last year. He's 29, guys, but he was averaging an insane over 5 yards a carry every single year of his career, basically. Last year in the playoffs against San Francisco, over 100 yards in like 4 straight games at the end of the regular season. This dude is on demon time right now. Like, I can't. He is a top 5 running back in the NFL. I promise you, his talent is that good. 5 yards a carry every single year, and his pass catching ability is second to like CMC and maybe a couple other guys, but he is up there with everybody, okay? Now, JJ McCarthy likes to check down. I could see him getting like 3 to 4 catches a game on top of being very efficient, on top of getting the goal line work. This one, I'm probably less scared about another running back like Ty Chandler than any of the other guys on the list. This is the first guy on the list where it's really that Josh Jacobs type of archetype where we're not quite sure about the offense yet because JJ McCarthy is manning it. We don't know how many goal line touches and how many opportunities in the red zone he'll get because who knows how good JJ is. But if the Vikings are actually a good offense, which they very well could be, they have a lot of pieces on it. Aaron Jones is in store for a lot of work, in my opinion, and he's very, very efficient through his whole career, showed no decline last year. I'm still very, very in. I draft him on most of my teams. Now, number 6 on this list, by far the lowest in ADP, RB 38. Pick 124. This is really, really like Kyren was last year, where it's that pass catcher on an offense that we're not too sure about. We weren't too sure about the Rams last year, but they really proved everybody wrong. They were a great offense. It's going to be Austin Ekeler. I know, right? It should be Brian Robinson's backfield. I'm really not a Brian Robinson guy. He's already 25. He's mainly just a running type of running back. He's not really a pass catcher. He's not very skilled at it. He'll do it if he has to, kind of like a Joe Mixon on early downs. But on third down, Ekeler will be in. And guys, what if Ekeler just isn't washed? He was hurt last year, especially on that sideline clip where everyone sees how slow he looked. Like, he was hurt during that play. I'm not convinced he's completely washed, okay? And if Jaden Daniels can, make this offense better than what it has been in the past, which shouldn't be too high of a bar to clear, there could be some red zone work here. I get Brian Robinson probably gets most of that, but if anything happens to him, or if he just outperforms Robinson, kind of like the Akers and Kyren Williams thing, I think Austin Ekeler has a lot of upside. This late in the draft, I am perfectly fine taking stabs at him. Now, I told you guys I'm going to give you an absolutely gross pick at the very end of your draft that you can draft every single time. I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm giving you 2 of them. The first one that I was going to give you is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, re-signs with the Chiefs. He is the clear RB2 on this team. Knows everything in and out, knows how to catch passes, decent on the goal line. If anything happens to Isaiah Pacheco, get ready for a Clyde Edwards-Helaire masterclass. Just tuck him away on your bench, on your taxi squad, whatever you need to do. Keep this guy in the back door. Manage your waivers accordingly with your fab, and really, really blow it on him if anything happens to Pacheco, because he's someone in this offense that I think is going to get much better this year. Mahomes is going to come alive. They're going to score way more than they did last year. They played very slow paced with that great defense last year. Defense got worse. They lost Need. I really think this is a good spot for Helaire. And the other back is J.K. Dobbins, who is currently going as the running back, a little bit higher, running back 56 at pick 182. Same thing. I think we're counting him out because of his double injury, his ACL and his Achilles. But Gus Edwards is almost 30 years old. He's not too talented. I know he's been fine, especially last year. But already familiar with the Greg Roman system is both of them, but J.K. Dobbins in particular. And I just think he's more talented. If the injuries do subside and he does kind of go back to that form that he used to have, he's obviously more explosive, and there's that sneaky upside of a backfield that really doesn't have that clear guy in it. Plus, he has a little bit of pass catching upside. Gus has like none of that. So those are 2 absolutely dart throws at the end of your draft. And I hope you guys like this. I'm going to come out with more sleeper videos, especially with running backs and wide receivers, for you guys in the upcoming weeks. So drop a comment. Let me know which type of video you want to see next. Leave a like, follow, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.